breaking news coming in right now. It looks like we have a new pope. Nope, it's not Donny Boy. It's a white guy from Chicago that, of course, has a questionable past. Is he woke or is he based? That's the question that everyone is asking, as, of course, we now have a Pope Leo. As everyone is kind of asking the question, let's see how much of an impact will he have on the Catholic Church that, as of late, doesn't have the best track record. And guess what? It looks like this guy doesn't have the best track record, too. Now, there's a lot of things to talk about here. As, of course, this is a huge historical moment right now in the making. Right now, as we just had the white smoke and the Pope coming out there on the balcony inside of the Vatican, finally showing his face and announcing to everyone that he, of course, will be ruling over the Catholic Church from now on.
Let me see first.
Here we are, Miss Cardinal Mamberti.
The Cardinal Proto-Deacon.
Cardinal Dominique Mamberti.
And he's smiling.
He's smiling. He will give us the announcement. Here we are.
Suspense.
It's like the opposite of like a sports draft. But the question remains: will this guy be woke, or will he be based under the future leadership of this huge religion that, of course, plays a major role in our current social and political discourse? As right now, if I ask people, what do they think of this guy? What's his track history? And the longer we go on, more and more people are saying woke. And to simplify the question, I asked everyone, is the new pope like this dude or this other dude? And overwhelmingly, people are already memeing the situation, saying, yes, we got the first pope from America, North America specifically. And then people are like, wait, he's a Democrat from Chicago. Oh, no. And that matters since, of course, the left overwhelmingly has been kind of the larger kind of ideology that's been the biggest battering ram against religion. If you look at the way that they treat religion, the way that they mock it, the way that they attack it through many forms of media, many forms of entertainment that are subliminally, subconsciously affecting the minds of the people of the world here, it is underhandedly undermining the values that used to be the ethos of the kind of conservative, politically more aligned Catholic Party. But this is a new Catholic kind of party that seems to be embracing its biggest attackers, its biggest haters, its biggest detractors, that, of course, are amongst the least religious people on the face of this earth. And when we look at their kind of weird symbolism, specifically around religion, and trying to, of course, glorify some of the most weirdest, most debaucherous type of behavior around it, it makes you wonder, why is the Catholic Church kind of trying to appease these people? As I thought, this person on social media made a very interesting post here saying, because there's been a lot of people clutching their pearls and saying, oh no, Donald Trump posted an image of himself as the new pope. That's so disrespectful. I thought it was funny. A lot of other people thought it was funny. Catholics thought it was funny as well here, as, of course, this is a part of the new kind of meme culture that we are a part of. And when you compare it to all the ways that the left kind of demeans and makes fun of Catholic and Christian values, it's nothing compared to their pure attacks on the religion, as a lot of people within the Catholic community did find this funny and didn't find it offensive. There's a lot of things that are deliberately made to offend people who are religious, as right now, this guy, 589 Bull, a random user, anonymous user, said, Trump dressed as Pope is pure psychological warfare. The Vatican isn't just a church. It's a bank, a fortress, and a vault for the old guard's secrets. If he's holding the gold, the archives, or the blackmail files, this is him flashing the crown. He just stole it. Now, I believe this is a little bit more of a bigger representation than it actually is. I think it's just funny here, because if we did have a right-wing conservative kind of pope here, we would have bigger political movements and momentum in this kind of right-wing populist sphere that Donald Trump encompasses and represents, that has been represented by previous popes, like the pope that, of course, helped to bring down communism from Poland. Yeah, you remember John Paul, that guy? That guy was, say what you may about the Catholic Church and religion, one of the fiercest fighters against top-down, centralized, leftist, liberal, woke, communistic doctrines that he, of course, fought against through a lot of religious practices, as the communists, the leftists, throughout history always hated the church because it took away power away from the state here, and it made power decentralized and made power local. Now, some would argue, hey, the church got too powerful, and there are arguments to make that historically. But right now, we're living in a moment where I think it's now fair to argue that the leftists have hijacked this key position of authority amongst religious people, and they are trying to bring people closer and closer to, of course, the left-wing, woke, government-loving, centralized, communistic core values that are destructive against religion and religious doctrine at all. Now, before getting into some of the allegations against this guy, because there's some pretty big ones coming from Peru here specifically, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop, a shop to keep you healthy, to keep you happy, and make you the strongest, most amazing version of yourself. There's 2 supplements here that we only have 4. We're working on a 5th one that's going to be really great. But 2 of these supplements are about to be sold out. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but 2 of them are going to be sold out very quickly. And because of the supply chain shortages, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get some of the stuff that we usually rely on and get here. So make sure to get them as supplies last here. But we have other great stuff other than just supplements to boost your game in all aspect of life. We have tea. We have this tea here that is awesome, that is incredible, that right now the link doesn't work here. I got to talk to Jeremy. I don't know why it doesn't work, but that could explain why some of the sales aren't going through. Let me tell you about ashwagandha, another great supplement. That was my first kind of supplement that I started taking throughout my independent health journey. It was something that definitely helped me lower stress, lower cortisol levels. I only take it 1 month out of the year because this is some powerful stuff. It boosts your testosterone, and it helps you deal with your hormone levels. It helps you deal with your energy levels. It helps you have an elevated mood. But again, just like any supplement, you don't want to, of course, become over-reliant on it. Only take it 1 month out of the year. That's how I personally take it. Before taking anything into your body, speak to your medical professional and talk to the people that you rely on for your own personal health, wellness, and well-being. I know a friend that recently, she was dealing with a lot of stress. The doctor told her, take some ashwagandha, and it has been helping her out a lot here. So, and I gave her some, and she really likes it, and she really enjoys it. Now, let's go back to this kind of conversation, which I think is worth having here, as of course we saw the white smoke emerge. And people cheered. This was a pretty fast kind of decision-making process here, as this new pope is tied in pretty closely to the old pope. Now, his name is Robert Francis Provost. Chicago. Looks like liberal, woke, Democrat aligned here. We're going to tell you what people are saying about him in a little bit here, but people are now saying this is going to be a leftist American pope that the media will be using as a weapon against Donald Trump. Will that be the case here? Well, so far, it looks like it. And when looking into this guy, looking into his summary, he has a little bit of a checkered past here. Let's just be honest with ourselves. As, of course, there was a priest that was convicted of hurting small children that stayed at a property near a school and continued being a priest. As Provost, this new pope, allegedly did not authorize this. The priest was not an Augustinian, and the incident occurred before the 2002 Dallas Charter reforms. The priest was ultimately moved around. This is one of the things that we're also hearing specifically being done here in these particular cases. Oh, he's being accused of something. Let's just move him around somewhere else here, as we have this article saying that some accusers have claimed Provost failed to properly investigate the allegations and covered up for the accused priest, but the diocese has firmly denied this, stating that Provost followed proper procedures. They stated that Provost personally received and attended to the victims and reportedly opened an initial consciential investigation. He has also encouraged the victim to take the case to the civil authorities in July of 2002. Provost sent the results of the investigation to the diocese and the doctrine of the faith for review. His supporters stressed that he has documents from the DDF and the Papal Nicole in Peru, which also indicate that he was not only attentive to the presumed victims, but that he did not require in church law in following procedures set from the cases. However, in May of 2025, allegations emerged that the diocese paid $150,000 to the three girls to silence them, described as longtime public critics of Provost. The girls reportedly blamed Provost for covering up the abuse by the priest. The allegations reported in the Info Vaticanica described the Peruvian scandal, which was the subject of a national television report, including an interview with the girls last year as the stone in the shoe for Cardinal Provost. So, again, a little bit of a checkered past here, as a lot of people have reported that he was the, quote, obvious candidate since he knows everybody. He spent 30 years as a missionary. He knows many languages. And, quote, his time in Peru, this is according to the Telegraph and some people that were voting for him, says, quote, means a lot that he is one of the least American of the American cardinals, but he understands America and he can speak to the country, which is important in the Trump era. This is reporting from the Telegraph here, as he is seen as a reformer in the mold of Pope Francis. Pope Francis was the last woke pope that also was trying to, quote, re-envision capitalism, working with the Rothschilds and the big banksters, trying to create, quote, inclusive capitalism. Pope Francis also cheerleaded population replacements, immigration, and a lot of other leftist, left-wing policies, including, of course, two dudes being together with each other as well. Now, again, this guy being the kind of underling of Pope Francis highlights absolutely, definitely going to be a woke pope here. As overwhelmingly now, more and more people are saying, yeah, this guy's going to be woke and more like this dude rather than this dude that some people in the right-wing media sphere were, quote, hoping for. And again, the memes are absolutely just writing themselves here. We had a response here from Brian Michaels saying, same as the old pope. The power shift does not occur. The power struggle between the Trump gang and the Euro gang wages on. The prize which gang will lead the new world order. I think that's a fair assessment here. The fact that he spent most of his time in Peru does not speak well for him. There's been a lot of children being hurt in the churches there. And that's true, too. You know, the Catholic Church here doesn't have the best of reputations, specifically when it comes to small children. You know, a lot of these priests are like, yo, you can't have the hanky-panky. And let's just be honest with ourselves here. Maybe you know, that's not the smartest of policies. But hey, especially when you put them around small children, and a lot of the times the Catholic Church was found to cover up these scandals, these abuses of these priests, taking advantage of their situation, where people see them as leaders in their communities. They give their children to them to be raised right, and then the popes the priests end up taking advantage of that situation, taking advantage of these children and hurting them in unspeakable ways, just like Jeffrey Epstein here. So it's an unfortunate situation. It's something that, of course, does speak to what is also weirdly aligned to leftist liberal policies. Because if you look at the liberals, there's a section of them talking about minor attracted people. You look at the corporate media, that more overwhelmingly is aligned with the left here. That also tries to excuse a lot of this kind of weird behavior. Laura Loomer decided to, of course, express herself like she usually does in a totally uncensored way, saying, "Meet the new American Pope. Of course, he's anti-MAGA and woke. Another open border Pope. Gross." And we do see social media posts that are allegedly from this new Pope there, Robert Atlas Couch, saying, "J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for another," criticizing him. Another post here, allegedly, and again, I don't know if this has been confirmed to be him, so take this with a grain of sand, but this is Laura Loomer reporting this, saying that this is one of his posts, saying, "As Trump and Bukele use Oval to fed illicit deportations of a U.S. resident, once an undocked Salvadorian himself, now D.C. Ox," and I don't see, this is the thing. You got to be careful when it comes to a lot of the kind of responses here, because, like, is that actually the Pope, or is that someone pretending to be, Robert Provost here? Did he really have an ongoing Twitter presence? I don't know. So far, I would need a little bit more kind of confirmation here before delving into this particular topic in a way, instead of just having kind of a knee-jerk reaction. Other people are saying, "Blue-haired woke Pope ain't no joke. He's, quote, a boring moderate. He's neither side." The fact that he was under the influence of Pope Francis kind of does highlight that, yeah, he's actually probably a little bit more woke, a little bit more blue-haired than blue-haired being the representation of liberal leftist ideology. As we have people saying, Cardinal Provost, appointed 2 years ago, closely aligned to Pope Francis' liberals' agenda. Pope Leo, formerly Cardinal Robert Francis Provost, prioritized outreach to the poor, migrants, and marginalized, aligning with Pope Francis' pastor vision. Now, again, if you're helping the marginalized, I don't see anything wrong with that, obviously. But when you're slapping away the hands of the people that are your constituents while you're washing the feet of Muslim migrants, that's the best representation, especially in Western civilization, that is being, I believe, absolutely destroyed from within with a lot of these communistic woke liberal policies. Quote, he supported Francis's reform, allowing divorced and civilly remarried Catholics to receive communion, and championed synodatry for a more inclusive, participatory church. As the first American pope, he has not served in the U.S. for a decade, and aside from a 2-year period in Chicago, he spent the preceding decade outside of the United States. So a lot of people are saying, well, he's from Chicago, and Chicago, overwhelmingly leftist liberal town. The Peru part is interesting here. And again, lots of people are printing screenshots. Again, a lot of these are, let's be honest, probably fake here. You got to be careful not to fall for the fake news, since there's a lot of fake news out there, a lot of disinformation out there, and you got to be careful with your reporting out here. As we have Johnny Jokes saying, the Pope is for all people, including LGBTQ people. Now, again, I do agree that if you're going to be of a religion, you of course need to be open and respectful to absolutely everyone, and not try to, of course, dissuade and push people away. But when it comes to, quote, promoting woke capitalism, the re-envisionment of woke capitalism, working hand in hand with some of the most liberal, destructive banking cartels in order to promote more kind of racism and discrimination in our society, when you're propelling policies that have been absolutely destructive towards the West, saying, come on in, guys, saying, yeah, flood their countries. Don't come into the Vatican. We have the Vatican Guard. Don't come in here, though. We're not going to. We'll wash your feet, but get out for a PR stunt. Get out. Shoo. Shh. Go back into the streets there. once you're representing policies saying, yeah, guys, replace the local population here. Give them all of your money. Yeah. Oh, those S assaults that have been rising, we don't see any problem with that. Also because of open immigration? Huh. Oh, the scandals that we've been caught in Peru. Again, the Peru stuff is a little bit weird here, but again, that's part and parcel with what we have been seeing from the Catholic Church for a long time, that now a lot of people are kind of bringing up in a more serious nature. This kind of weird woke liberal Pope stuff is interesting. Again, lots of people are saying he's a moderate. We'll see what his policies are going to be. We'll see how he will rule. And of course, we're going to call it out as honestly as we can here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate that, support us. Looks like we are going to have more kind of philosophical, religious types of warfare out there. And strap in. It's going to be a wild, crazy, bumpy ride. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.